Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Ringroo, hello.
And folks, after a short recovery break, we are back with you with some more monthly tournament over here on Orsha North. Who do we have, sir?
Well, on the left-hand side, in the blue, we have ourselves a Jimster Hacks playing as the Hermann-Goring Panzer Division with Maverick Income. Right-hand side in red, we have Liszek playing first Polist, also with a Maverick Income.
So, Hermann Goring, the Poles, we know how this kind of plays out a little bit. I mean, naturally, of course, being the fact that the Hermann Goring division, waves upon waves of aircraft, and the Poles having no aircraft to spare whatsoever. Oh, wait, I have that backwards.
Always funny how the Airborne Panzer Division doesn't have a whole lot of airborne units.
Well, to me, it's always the Airborne Panzer Division is them dropping panzers from the air, so technically, it's still what it says on the tin, just not very effectively.
Yeah, it's like a Soviet airborne tanker experimenting in the 30s.
Yeah, well, wasn't that basically kind of the forerunner of what would eventually become the Little John, like the Daimler Little John kind of idea?
No, it's like they literally just got like a T-60 tank and gave it like rings.
Gave it rings.
Rings.
Oh,
like,
wings. I was like Red Bull. Ah,
the speech impediment jumps in again. Same thing with his Su-57s. Barreling down the road, T-34 German run it is. Stopping the advance, but we're seeing pretty heavy play on the flanks.
Yes, we certainly are. Checking out to the northern side, so I missed a little bit of that here. But 231 and, of course, MP-44 Pioneers. Yeah, that T-34 should kind of be okay for a bit. And I say kind of because the Sapir-2, of course, are going to come on in and just start blowing the shreds with their HE satchels. But hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do find this quite interesting how Liszek isn't so much going directly for the top part of the hill, but trying to control the central forest area. It's always a little bit more of a risky maneuver as you lack the high ground, but especially with him having not a whole lot of AT nearby, you might as well just try to play for the forest. And he's actually going to be pushing towards the farmstead here, which is quite an interesting play.
Even more so when you consider the fact that the troops they're pushing against, first of all, you have disheartened carnies, which are going to win by just sheer dint, I think, of numbers more than anything else, and that BA-10. But I feel like this is a play that could bear unexpected fruit, if for no other reason than the fact that, like, okay, cool, you're close to me now, not a big deal, I can still isolate your troops and take them out one by one, which is exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, it's actually doing this quite well with this maneuver, kind of spreading his infantry around, kind of like through the claws or gaps of Jimster's line here. I do like him pushing up the superior, because usually if you leave that zone until later, it's usually very heavily defended, so it's a bit of an overextension, a bit of a risk going for the farm. But if he can hold on to that now, that's a nice Gucci flag location to hold on to.
When you have two squads there as well. I know it sounds ridiculous to say, ah, yes, two is better than one. Of course, Khan. Well done. You can count two. But, I mean, buildings in the first place, unless you're hitting with a more than a smattering of HE, it is deliciously difficult to try to dig them out. That's the entire point of having strong points. So, great, you stress out one of my guys. It doesn't mean I lose the flag just yet, because I still have somebody else right there.
And he's even bringing up some more T-34s, and I think, yeah, if his T-34 reinforcements coming in, that should really solidify this southern push.
They do something. Looking at the northern push, though, we are going to see a T-34E just kind of laugh off the tennis balls being fired his way by the 231. Took out a 233 already. Probably going to take out the 231 with one more shot. No, somehow he misses. But the same thing is happening to the Germans in the south. It's kind of happening to the Poles in the north. It's a curious idea.
Yeah, we're just seeing a little bit of a north-south trade. However, in the center here, Jimster has been able to push a little bit and actually gain control of that massive farm complex out in the open. And it seems he's bringing a few more units to probe the center, and I always love it when players do probe the center on this map. You do not see it enough. It's usually not that well defended, so you might as well try to send some troops down, yeah.
I think it might be some of the fact they keep saying they keep probing things, and like, okay, cool. I mean, we might not be alone out there, but that's still one of those verbs that kind of goes along with the adjective moist. You know?
You're definitely gonna feel it.
Oh yes, I'm sure you are. In the meantime, T-34 continues to bedevil everything. There's that one Pac-38 up north, but unless he gets a beautiful little side shot here, which is possible, Tink. Never mind.
I'm also seeing, like, northern center hill. We got Ursat's trooping leading the charge here, trying to do one of those probing actions, you could say, to see what's up here. So continual center pushes here from Jimster, and I do like his aggressiveness. God damn, the Ursat's trooping just driving right up to the Zis-3, because why not?
Well, even better, the Zis-3 is like, oh yes, we have HE2. They fire a shell at a guy's, you know, maybe 10 meters in front of them, and somehow managed to miss.
Oh, now this free shooting towards a tank just due to how auto-targeting works, and damn, that was a really ghetto but very effective push.
Speaking of gatiosity, down south we're seeing Strokies, though, doing the same kind of idea. Of course, now we have a door knocker aiming at half-tracks, and this should be a considerably easier set of kills. That's one. Okay, the other guys pick head out in time. But there's still a ridiculous amount of Polish equipment down south. And I don't know, a 231, P4, a couple of air stats trooping, I don't think that's gonna enough to, you know, seal the deal. Especially when there's an IL-2 coming back in at that Pack 38. 231 already goes down. And T-34s and 45 mils, yeah, these guys are trooping are not long for this world either.
Yeah, this southern side is essentially lost here for Jimster. It's just, as you can see by Godfist, and just a huge amount of troops here. And the Poles do perform pretty well on CQC. They can get some anti-tank guns to roll up. It's just not going to be a rough roll here for Jimster to continue trying to push his failed location. He might as well just, you know, set up the basic defense line to make sure you don't get pushed to the spawn. And then just try to continue central pushes, because he is making progress in the center. He's got another Sad Trooping push, going to run into a Maxim gun. But that is keeping him in the game. He is still up by a 13 round now, 12-12.
Or a 13-11 one more time yet. It's I'm not going to say curious, because that's going to be the word of the day, I'm sure. But Airsat's trooping against the Maxim. The Maxim, first of all, I'm surprised that he's not able to fire.
Oh, it's CQC.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, wait a second. I have guys right in front of me. I have a machine gun. But as we go into the dog days of Phase A, we are noticing that there's some things here and there, you know, half-track to the northern side, progressing and really being a pain in the ass to that P-Grand. Southern side, there was a mortar half-track. We're starting to see the mortars start to engage a little more extensively here. P4 goes down, Universal Carry kind of being followed on up. Yeah, guys, this is one of those moments that you are going to lose your spawn. You know what? Screw it. Just making a new defense in the next road up. Just hold that intersection at least.
Yeah, Universal Carrier really just going the distance here, trying to see how far he can get.
Kind of a weird moment there, but 14-10. And I feel like that is only because, you know, Jimster hasn't really stirred himself. 15-9, there we go. Hasn't really stirred himself to take that northern point. But, jeez, the Poles have, for some reason, somehow, they completely and totally left the southern side of the map to the Germans. I'm very confused here.
Yeah, we're pretty much seeing like a north-south trade here, but for both players, well, really, Jimster has come out definitely on top because he's also pushed the center of just, you know, a few light armored vehicles and some rather disheartened troops. So he is getting a very nice 16-8 right now. It should be very easy for him as well to just solidify the northern side. You just set a Pack 40 up on that hill, and you just blow up any T-34 which comes your way. And we haven't yet seen, I'm actually quite surprised, the IL-2 spam from the Soviets. So never mind, I spoke too soon. We got 2 IL-2s coming in already.
One that kind of took out I think one of the Pack 38s down south. So this is either number 2 and number 3, or number 1 and number 2. I don't know.
No, it's an IL-2.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely accurate here. But I think what we're going to be seeing is iron cigars, regardless, being plopped down on any kind of, you know, hard position as we can get. Down south, the lighter version of the IL-2 basically obliterates. And northern side, coming off that 231, should be pretty easy for him to kill it, I would think.
And we're actually seeing a continual reinforcement in the northern central hill here, as Jimster is yeeting more Ursat's trooping up until the point. Now Liszek is finally paying some attention here, especially considering North is completely gone, of reinforcing this hill. And we have the BA-10 and... Yeah, all he needs is the BA-10 and a half track. There's no anti-tank here at all.
Well, we are continuing to see... Well, 13-11. I think it's just more of a consequence of time. Yeah, Air Slash Trooper making a run across the open. And hey, T-34s. I wonder that's a great idea. Said Oh, man. Oh, man. Air Slash Trooper doing their thing. But against this on Nikki... This is a bizarre fight.
Yeah, it's just both sides very much overextended in the north and southern side respectively, so they're just throwing in what, leftovers they have. Liszek is really starting to heavily reinforce center, bringing in a whole lot of T-34s, and the lack of anti-tank here just in general from Jimster in the center is definitely going to not be beneficial for him.
No, as the great bards might say, that is not good.
No bueno.
No bueno indeed. You were practicing your Spanish, I appreciate that. IL-2 in the meantime, coming over here, looking to try to find that half track? No, he's just going to bomb the countryside, because apparently it offends him.
Yeah, going after the Pak-40 again. And he is going to finish it off. And also saw a Jagdpanzer being brought in down south. I'm guessing it's more of a defensive play. And honestly, a very good run. As opposed to don't have a whole lot of ground-based anti-tank. They do have air-based anti-tank IL-2 cluster coming in for the grill. See if he can make it a bit grilly here. I think he gets a load off. He does. And that's a dead grill.
Well, you know what? At least he died doing what he loves. Barbecue. Air Slash Trooper Flammenwerfer trying to go and reconsolidate that northern central hilltop. I don't think that's going to happen. I think right now, because of the lack of anti-tank play, from the Germans anyway, I think we're going to start to see a realignment from east-west.
Indeed. Yeah, we did see, or are seeing, a Tiger being brought out here, so be curious to see how it ends up performing. Of course, it can black the T-34, especially in this central, open country. But cluster IL-2s can do quite a number to big, heavy tanks.
Even more so when you have these T-34s, these pointed T-34s. Aha! Yes, we have them now, boys. And there's a Strotsky on their side, and who should be able to just kind of run up behind them, ping him a few times in the backside. That PTRD should be able to seal the deal if he gets any kind of stirring for it.
Yeah. But I do like how Liszek is really starting to get very aggressive now in the center, like you said about realignment. And he has more quality here compared to Jimster, currently at least, especially in the infantry department. So he has a very good window to try to push up, secure that southern central hill, and probably capture a couple of his other flags in the center to get him that points bleed.
Wait, you're telling me that Air Slash Troopers are not high quality?
I know, isn't it weird?
I thought the hearts meant they had bigger hearts than normal.
Yeah, I mean, an easier target to shoot, Khan. Yeah, that's a problem with having a big heart. More blood loss.
I'll say, probably having a bigger heart, you get hurt more often. Oh boy. Eastern Pioneers moving into trying to roust out some of that Strokey. Strokey, though, in the meantime, going to be more than enough, I think, to kind of keep them at a distance. And they're going to continue just to cause hassles, to put it mildly, for this T-34. Surprised he still isn't dead yet. HMG engaging Sapirti in the open. And I think that's the best you can see. I can barely see the other squad moving up the hill, but that's not going to happen. And the scout wannabes getting some eyes off the T-34. Yeah, I think this is where the Poles start to really move into that pole position.
Yeah, if he can, rather the Polish T-34 can kill the Russian-German T-34, he should have a pretty good position on this hill. Yeah, I think this for the Eastern Pioneers as well. I think Jimster will be able to just barely hold on to this. And goddamn, that recon troop is... He's just running right past the tank. He doesn't care. He's doing reconnaissance, one rail, another.
IL-2 on the Tiger.
No NTR. Oh, out in the open, and that's to be expected.
It is to be expected, but doesn't make it any less sad all the same.
That's
So
a pretty huge loss.
oh yeah, absolutely massive. Congratulations, you just won 130 points. It's just now dead. Ooh, another Katyusha strike, and it's gonna obliterate this 88. Oh,
And he's
yowza.
going to roll lucky on that case. It's always 50-50 of MLRS on static targets. So it's usually a safer bet on anti-aircraft units, because anti-aircraft units take more damage from ground fire, even though his rockets are technically coming from the air.
Technically, aren't all bullets coming from the air?
You know, you have a point there, Khan. I can't disapprove that.
I appreciate that. Every now and again, it's nice to know I can still put one up in the score column there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Liszek right now is putting a +1 over here against Jimster. He's bleeding him out ever so slightly. And I think a great big deal of that here is because of this air power. This air power has just not been able to be shut down, and we laugh about it. But Hermann Göring just never seemed to have an answer, despite their name.
Yeah, and this is always, you know, the main... Oh, yeah, Panzer
Yep.
got blacked. And that's always
Yep.
what you have to be worried about, especially against Poes. Their tried and true formula is, hey, we got T-34 spam, we got a bunch of mediocre infantry spam, and then we're just going to bomb you to hell and back with our flying tanks. And we're seeing it just really come into action now, just constant IL-2 runs, and... Especially if Hermann Göring, your NTS is pretty expensive, you don't get the nice 37 mils, which are like the good all-rounders. So, it's very hard to invest in a good, heavy anti-aircraft net.
Well, I think we're going to see... Ooh, never mind.
Oh.
The IL-2 doesn't even need to kill the Jagdpanzer. He gets killed by... What the heck was that?
Was that...
34?
No, Ray. Wow. Was that a side shot?
It was. It was. He was not angled perfectly over there.
Huh.
So...
That's a very lucky hit from a T-34. Those Jagdpanzers are usually more panzery. But hey, it's another Jagdpanzer which he can go for. And this is going to be very poor timing for him to show up.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yikes. Yikes.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, that's... Jimster's in a very, very, very rough spot now. He just lost pretty much all of his armor in the span of a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. It's one of those kind of weird moments when you think to yourself, wait a second, I know I left my toys around here. Where are they? And there's a little neighbor kid cackling as he runs the other direction with a firecracker.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Creek Grenadier, Storm Pioneers, these guys have been going in expecting to actually have some rock-solid armor support. They are going to have nothing, and they have no anti-tank to fight off even this T-34 as it gets brought on it.
Yeah, and then once again, like, Liszek has still that foothold on this southern central hill position here, and if he can just keep that foothold, that gives him such a good opportunity to cover down south, put pressure more towards the spawn, more importantly, really hook around north here, and probably try to take the northern town.
I mean, right now you've made a statement in the south. You know, without a doubt, you control the southern half of the map. The grill goes down. SDK set 7-1 makes ground fire, forces off the IL-2. Man, it would have been nice to actually bring that guy in, 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But do you really actually need to take northern town? To me, I would just say rupture the center. It's a psychological hit in the first place, and you already kind of force, let's say, a crazy defense of that northern town that just isn't going to work in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Liszek's already in just a very comfortable position right now of all of his armies, just kind of getting all the T-34s spread around the map here. And Jimster, he's investing in Panzer IVs. He really just needs decent medium armor and slowly trade his raid back up into a better armor advantage. But I think it's going to be hard without the anti-air, because IL-2 coming in up north, just going to be blapping that T-34, and no anti-air up here, so he's going to go down. And honestly, actually, Liszek might as well make a play far north again.
That's true, but he's going to pick up at least one more flat of -2 bleed. And if he just stirs himself, he's starting to hit... There we go. He's starting to do it. He's hitting that T intersection. He's going to hold it. You don't have to really worry about things too much coming further forwards than that. Wait, what's he got? He's got eyes on, what, those Grenadiers?
Mm-hmm.
The air strip to the north. Congratulations, you have your Carnies moving on in, and when the Carnies come to play, I mean, there's no other way out of it. It truly isn't. IL-2 continues to kind of make gun runs over here. He's going to go after that SKFZ. Unlikely will kill. No.
Oh, close, very close.
Doug Marcaida would not be impressed.
Hmm. You're seeing a heavy anti-air investment now. Like, he's got 3 of those Flak Villain trucks up, which he needs. He really needs.
Unfortunately, he went for a Flak 88 the first time around, which it's nice to have the, let's say, the mental aspect of it, and to theoretically have the anti-tank capability. But if you're fighting T-34s, that's the heaviest thing you're fighting. Is that really necessary?
The problem with his anti-aircraft net is, like, really the 88s are better than the Flak Villains, especially as a first purchase, as they have the better range. But you need, really need either just single 20 mils, just for map control spread, or the 37 mils, as are like the perfect all-rounders. It's just the problem with his anti-aircraft net, it's all the really expensive stuff, and he doesn't get a whole lot of it. So against this IL-2 spam, it's very expensive for him to invest in a good anti-aircraft net to actually cover the map.
To me, at this point, I'd be using the SDKFZs as anti-infantry support platforms.
I think he needs to keep him alive to deal with the airplanes.
Yeah,
he can't afford to lose anymore.
Anymore, yes. But I think that to me is why I'd be saying, cool, I know the Poles have solid infantry. My infantry can be good if... And then at that point, the rest of the sentence doesn't matter. But if you're sitting over here in the first place, you say to yourself, all right, I see infantry at long range. Yes, I have infantry moving in the first, to kind of engage them. I also have Flak Villains as to put some suppression down on them, and they have 6,500 rounds of ammunition. Like, that is a solid weapons platform. And instead, what we see is PaK-38s out in the open getting picked up by disheartened Carney troops.
Well, the problem with Rel of using the Flak Villains as infantry support is it doesn't get black from the T-34s. He mainly just needs to be using his mortars more effectively, and, keeping his tanks alive to provide the infantry fire support. He cannot afford to lose any of these SDKFZ anymore. He has no fighters. If he loses them, then the IL-2s have complete dominance, and it's already looking pretty close to be the game here for Liszek, but that would really seal the deal if his anti-aircraft net is just gone.
Perversely, he had an opportunity to send a Ju-87 on that central hill. There were 4 or 5 vehicles on top of each other. Like, they were having like a tank orgy. Like, that could have been an absolutely brutal bombing run. But unfortunately, I don't think he had the income for it.
And now it's going to come down to the Jagdpanzer to hold off against this Russian horde of T-34s and BA-10s, and just a very nice push here from Liszek. We're seeing more in northern central position. The armor is starting to solidify that area and slow things down a bit, but I think the southern central hill push is just going to completely rupture Jimster's line. This is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that thing, first of all, has been taking so much firepower. It looks like it's 4th of July. It's just rounds bouncing off. And please, the rising Russian tide. There we go. Long last Ju-87 makes a run. What we got? Okay, that was disappointing.
Yep. At least the Jagdpanzer is still alive, just very stressed out from all the fire coming his way. So he can come in for round 2, unless the IL-2 has something to do about it. Oh no, he's going for the T-34. Getting the flank. Nice clutch.
Well, he actually might get taken out. SDKFZ takes a rocket strike. Oh no, that's going for the... What is it going for? It's going for both of those. Interesting. Yikes.
And there we go. That's not a good thing you want to be losing there from Jimster.
P4s in the meantime. I feel like, I'm not going to say this is the last act of a desperate man, but I feel like this guy is on the ropes hardcore. I think we do ×2 at this point soon.
Yeah, let's do ×2 at 2540. And ×2.
So, as we kind of continue to push our way forwards through this, what are the kind of lessons we're seeing here? First, don't play Hermann Göring, especially against the Poles. Not for nothing, Hermann Göring is good when you stay in its lane, but I feel like Hermann Göring is a support division. That will always be my perception of them.
Yeah, they very much just get hard countered from the pose. There's the lack of aircraft and anti-air really screws them over. Against more traditional decks, they actually do pretty well. The Ag Panzers come in clutch. You have just enough like medium armor and heavy armor for 1v1. The infantry is honestly pretty good. It's just when up against air heavy decks, especially pose, which we've all known since like Death on the Vistula, are just the IL2 spam division. And honestly, Liszek just played it perfectly. He just did the Polish Classic.
The Polish Classic sounds like a really, really obscene sex act.
I was thinking more of just like, I don't know, a movie. Like the French Connection, the Polish Classic.
True. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I've always had my issues with the French Connection name as well, but, you know, I agree with you except for a couple of things. Yes, Young Panzers are good. They mix up pretty, pretty well, but the distance firepower of the infantry is great, but the lack of infantry AT, that will always drop a division in my book. If my guys can't, in a pinch, be trusted to consistently engage armor one way or another, I don't know, that drops you
Just
a
need
whole
more
lot of
Panzer Grenadiers. He did focus a lot on CQC troops. IL2's coming in again, just completely yagged in that yagged Panzer.
Now we have T-34 who's just like hustling on back. He's probably going to take it out at some point, but the fact that he's behind the lines is a little bit shameful. Like, this is a shameful display to the level the Shogun wouldn't be able to be okay with this.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if that Panzer IV will be able to deal with it.
Nah, S-35's got him on lock. Ooh, or getting locked. Jeez. There we go. Hey, look. Infantry with AT.
Blows him up.
What a shame with the P4 we killed them, but at least they're there.
Yep. And it's just Liszek just has such a good infantry blob here. The Polish penal troops, I mean, they are disheartened compared to the regular runs, if I recall. But still, just, they can hold the line quite well, just enough for the T-34s. Really IL-2s to come in and do their magic here. And there we go, he has the tap out.
And that's a very understandable tap.
Yep.
I feel like the cost should have been a little bit more pronounced. Only about 1,000? I kind of felt like it should have been way worse than that.
He's starting to blap a lot of tanks towards the end, but yeah. No Sturm Tiger, which is a shame.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, I feel like that would have made me even more depressed. It's like, okay, we see this great metal monstrosity and then get taken out by, like, I don't know, 45 mil. Filipowski, a couple scout cars. Wow, I can't do that next one, even remotely, forgive me. Klemensky, Urbas, I mean, the air power was decisive in my mind.
Yeah, IL-2s, especially with lack of, enemy threats, can just come in constantly, have a pretty fast reload time. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, just time and time again, just blow anything up, which has a little bit of armor.
Apparently, Freud had his own interpretation from the German side, killing several half-tracks of BA-10 and SU-57. I'm not sure what that says about his mother, but I'm sure it's something that we can definitely get on the couch about.
Yeah, nothing else really all that crazy from the German side.
No, not at all. So, hard counters, death from the air, forget the Vistula. Any other final thoughts, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case, then, until next time, I'm Conor.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.